Here on the OCU Athletics Update, we're talking to Delaware Resource Group Super Star Athlete of the Week, Matt Young, a senior pitcher from Glendora, California, who got the clinching win in the Stars series win over USAO over the weekend. And Matt, what went into your pitching performance on Sunday?
A whole lot and a whole little type of thing. I mean, coming off the injury, there's only so much I can do to prepare for it. And it sort of was like my whole life type of thing leading up to it, just because I had taken so much time off, didn't know if I was going to play again. And then it was so little time to actually prepare for it. But I mean, I just went out there knowing, I'm not where I normally am. I'm not 100%, but I know if I focus and I give it everything I have and focus every single pitch, that good things are going to happen.
Take us through what happened in the season opener when you got injured.
Well, I threw a bad pitch and the kid hit what you do with bad pitches, and he hit it hard and right back at my face, and it ended up shattering my jaw, fracturing the bone that holds my teeth in, and just messing me up pretty bad. And I mean, it was a pretty rough time. Like I said, I didn't know if I was going to play again. The doctor had estimated at least 8 weeks, possibly 12, which would have been end of my season, end of my career. And it was a hard time. I mean, I was sitting there and I had to actually walk out of the doctor's office because I just started bawling because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I got to thank my parents, especially my mom. She flew out immediately and was with me through all that time. And my dad came, flew out, saw me. My girlfriend came out multiple times, helping me out through it. And my teammates, my coaches, all my family out here, they really took care of me and helped me get through it.
So what's the process been like working your way back?
It started off pretty slow. I wasn't really supposed to do much for the first 6 weeks, and then after about 2 weeks, I sort of got away from that because I was going a little bit insane, just sitting around doing nothing. So I started throwing a ball under the net and working out really light, riding the bike around, and then about 4 weeks in, I knew it was still broke, but it was to the point where it didn't really hurt if I did much as long as nothing hit it. So I sort of started getting back into the swing of things. And then 6 weeks in, I went to get my braces off that they had put on me to keep my mouth wired shut. And after I got those off, it was funny because I didn't expect to be cleared anytime soon. And he told me I was cleared, good to go. And I figured I was cleared to like get back to basic activity type of thing. And I was kind of drugged up because they had put me out, and I was like, I'm cleared, like, what do you mean? And like, I didn't really understand it, and I ended up calling him about an hour after the surgery, and I was like, so what did you mean by cleared? I was like, am I cleared to play, like I can pitch, or am I just cleared to do the basics? And he's like, no, you're cleared, and whenever you're ready, you can pitch. And it was sort of almost one of the best moments of my life up until this point, just because it was such a shock to me. And I texted Denny right away, and I said, I'm back, I'm ready to go. And he's like, all right, you're starting on Saturday. And I was laughing, and he was joking, but I wasn't. So I took it serious, and I saw him the next day. He's like, so when can you pitch? I was like, well, I'm starting Saturday, you said. He's like, no, really, you need your mouthpiece, this and that. I was like, I got it all. I was like, I'm ready to go. And went out there and started Saturday, got that bad memory out of my head, and it's been good ever since.
So what's it been like working back into playing shape after the recovery from the impact?
It's been rough the least to say. It's just one of those things where I literally could not do anything. I lost 25 pounds because I was on a liquid diet. I mean, my energy levels were way down, my strength was way down, and coming back into it, I felt like a little newborn deer almost. Like I did not know how to work my body, and especially the strength thing. Like I'm so used to playing at the level I'm used to. It's been that way for the last 4 years. I haven't really grown or shrunk, and all of a sudden I lose all this weight, all this strength, all this stamina, and it was just, I was getting gassed doing the most simple things. I could be stretching and I was out of breath, and it was a long recovery process, a long, rough time, but like I said, all my friends and family helped me get through it and let me stay positive, and that's what got me through this whole thing.
Going back to last year, you had complete game wins in the opening round and in the NAI World Series. What do you remember about those games?
Honestly, the opening round one I can't remember all that well at all, but the World Series one was, one of my favorites. We finally made it back to Lewiston, and just that atmosphere with all those fans, the night game, everything leading into it, it's just, you get all amped up and it feels good. And I remember the first 2 innings, I was shaky. I was not myself how I'd been all season, and I went in and I talked to Keith, our assistant coach, and he's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm nervous, man. Like, I can't get the jitters out." And he's like, "You're fine. You've done this all year." And after I sort of just sat back and relaxed, I sort of locked in. And I just remember after that, it was in my control. I knew what I was doing. I was putting the ball where I wanted to, and it was just one of those games to win a big game like that out there after we hadn't been there for all those years. It felt good to be back.
How are your hitting skills?
If you ask me, they're the best on the team for sure. I mean, Keith won't let me hit anymore, and now Denny won't because they're too scared I'm going to get hurt or something. But if they gave me the chance, I bet you I'm putting up 20-plus bombs.
What's your major here?
Criminal justice.
What kind of career plans do you have for yourself when baseball's over?
When baseball's over, I'm hoping it continues, but when it's over, get into law enforcement and sort of figure out what I want to do from there, start off at the bottom, see what I like, don't like, and sort of try to figure out where I want to go from there.
All right, that's Delaware Resource Group Superstar Athlete of the Week, Matt Young. You can follow the Stars on OCUsports.com.
What I've learned the most from golf is to have integrity in everything you say and do.
One of the biggest lessons of that sports impacts my daily life is discipline.
Be a champion of character, it just means to realize first that you're a part of something that's bigger than yourself.
Being a part of NAIA is something that I'm going to keep with me forever because it's not only made me a better athlete, but it's made me a better person.
The NAIA really just cares about their student athletes and just the experience in general at the school, and I think that's really important.
The NAIA stands for, has great core values. One that's most important to me is servant leadership. Being able to serve your community is a huge reason why I chose the NAIA.
I am a champion of character.
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 Here on the OCU Athletics Update, we've got wrestling coach Sam Hazewinkel, recently hired as the new men's wrestling coach here at OCU. And Coach, you competed against OCU actually as a collegiate wrestler. What did you know about the program before you were hired here?
Well, you know, they started it up while I was at school at OU, and I'm all about wrestling, especially here in Oklahoma. So I was excited to see the program get started, excited that we'd have another one around, and didn't ever think I'd end up here, and I'm glad I did. This has been wonderful. I'm loving every minute of it.
How close were you to winning a national championship at OU?
Oh man, really close. a bunch of times. Just man, that NCAA tournament's kind of hard to fulfill sometimes, you know. And that's the thing about wrestling. It's all about facing adversity, you know, learning to face it head on, and you get better from it. And especially senior year, you know, I was supposed to win. I was undefeated all year, and then losing the finals, and I had a choice. I can be done with the wrestling, or I can keep chasing it, and I'm glad I did.
You mentioned having competed against OCU when they were restarting the program in a duel. What do you remember, if anything, about that duel with OCU at the time?
So I was racking my brain. I was trying to remember. I talked to one of our media guys and couldn't remember the duel. I couldn't figure out why. I knew it started when I was here, and I know Jack Spates, the OU coach at the time, loved helping out because I was all for that. That was one of the things I liked about it. And then I found out that they didn't have a 25-pounder. So that made me feel a lot better because I didn't have a match that day. So I do remember coming here and it being exciting. There was a lot of people there that day to support the new program, and we got to be the first duel with them. So that was a lot of fun.
What was it like wrestling for the United States in the Olympics in London? It
was awesome. I know that word's used a lot, but it's hard to put it in words. It's kind of surreal thinking back on it. A lot of the time, I have to look at pictures to remember. But there was a lot of good things about it. I got to bring a bunch of my family. Everybody spoke English. That was nice, you know, so you could get around a little more. You didn't have to have an interpreter with you all the time. So that gave us some freedom to kind of enjoy it a little bit rather than having to stay as a team. So we'd have an interpreter. It was a lot of fun. We did the opening ceremonies. You know, it's United States of America, so they do the opening ceremonies and we're last because we're the U's. So we're listening, and it took us 4 hours. You walk in a line to go in the stadium, and you can hear everybody cheering, and you're in the A's, you know, and everybody's going crazy. They're all pumped up. Well, it's 4 hours later. We're at the U's, you know, and we're kind of like, we're tired. This is going to be and then we walked in, and it was so loud. That was one of the best moments of the Olympics for me. Was going in. We all had our phones, and it was incredible. None of us thought it would be that loud, and it was a great way to start the Olympics. It's hard. It's hard to even put it in words. It really is surreal, kind of.
You got wrestling in your blood, so to speak.
Yeah,
what did you learn from your dad and from your uncle about the sport?
Everything. You know, they really did teach me everything they knew. Wrestling's a great sport in that it's for anybody. You got big guys, you got little guys, you got, you know, a guy won NCAAs a few years back with one leg. It really is anybody. Well, my dad and uncle didn't start wrestling until their junior year of high school, and they made an Olympic team. And I started, obviously. I don't remember starting. I can't remember not wrestling. But they took the philosophies they used to make the Olympic team and taught them to me and my brothers. And I was the only one that really liked wrestling, that really took to wrestling. And I made an Olympic team. And all my brothers are real successful. So I'm planning on teaching those philosophies to these guys here and see if we can't make it work for everybody, or if it's, you know, is it just a Hazewinkel thing, and in our crazy little world, you know, it works. But I think it's going to work real well here, and the guys are going to really respond to it and keep getting better.
You grew up here in Oklahoma, moved to Florida for high school, and then came back for college. How are things different the second time you were here in the state?
Well, I realized that we don't have real beaches here. That was the biggest thing that stood out to me. You know, I really missed the beach. I was up in Pensacola. We got that white sand beach there, you know. Everything else, though, I love Oklahoma. I love the people here. I love the kind of, it's a little more laid back, you know. I love Oklahoma. There was not a doubt in my mind, even in high school, I was kind of going to come back to Oklahoma. And then, of course, I ended up coming back to wrestle at University of Oklahoma. And now I'm here coaching wrestling, raising a family, and just loving Oklahoma, loving life.
Beyond competing in the sport, what experiences have you had that have prepared you to become a head coach?
Oh man, I'm very religious. I'm into my church. I think that's a really big part of it. That's a big part of my philosophy. And I use that in wrestling. It's really the only two things. Wrestling's always been a part of my life, obviously. So all those two are my filters for everything, and that's kind of my philosophy. I try to teach the same things. You know, the honesty, the hard work, not cutting corners. We're going to do things right here, and when you're doing things right, you're successful. Whether that means winning or losing, you're successful. And generally, when you're successful, you're winning. You know, so.
What do you look for in a prospective student athlete?
Well, I want the guys. What I'm looking for is guys that love the sport. And that works out great here. You know, at Oklahoma City University, it's a hard school to get into. It's very academic. So guys that come here, they want to do good in school, and they love wrestling. You know, it's a lot of the times I love wrestling, and you know, if I got to do school to wrestle, I'll do it. And it's not that way here. So that really fits in. I love that about OCU. And so I'm looking for guys that understand academics, that love wrestling, and aren't scared to work hard. You know, I want guys that are going to have fun when it's time to have fun, and then work hard when it's time to work hard. And Oklahoma, that's kind of bred into us here. So it shouldn't be that hard to find guys like that.
What do you feel like makes OCU unique?
As I said, the academics part of it, I think, is a big thing. It's a little bit smaller school, and everybody knows everybody. So it's a really strong family atmosphere that I didn't expect. I don't know why I didn't expect it, but in my 5 days I've been here, that's what's hit me biggest is all the guys, they all get along real well. And it's that way across campus. All the teachers know each other, everybody's saying hey to everybody. And it really hit me hard because that's not something I'm used to. Everybody here is like, hey, you're the new wrestling coach. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, you're over here and, philosophy 101. What do you have to do? But they know, because they know everybody on campus, and I really like that part of it. That's a big part of it to me. And then just the academics and how it means something when you graduate here. I think that's a big part of it, and it's something I think is easy to sell. I'm gonna use that a lot to help kids want to come here and see what we have to offer.
All right, talking to men's wrestling coach Sam Hazewinkel. You can follow the Stars on OCUsports.com.